Yes, so Hairless here. We are back with Heart. This will be our second Heart video. The first one was Crazy on You. What a song, such a good song. That was from 1987, and today we are going 10 years before that. This is Barracuda from 1977. Apparently Barracuda is an anthem of rage against sexism in the industry at the time, so it'll be interesting to hear not only how the rage comes through the music, but also how different their style might be here 10 years before the other Heart song I've seen. Wow, what a voice. It's definitely different overall to Crazy on You, but there are also similarities. I think what I'll do is just go straight back over some of the things I found most interesting before we carry on with the song. No point dilly-dallying around. So let's go back to where the opening vocals come in. So this ain't the end, I saw you again today. Immediately, there's this feeling of power just straight in there. It's like they're saying, don't mess with me and my sister. It's a statement, bam, right in the face from the off. The instrumentation too that we're hearing in the introduction. These guitar power chords, a lot of distortion in there. Everything very archetypical of rock or hard rock music at the time, I think. I wasn't alive back then. As we just saw, one guitar enters and then a second guitar kind of doubles it up, really focusing on the lower notes to thicken up that bass sound, deepen the bass, which emphasizes the sort of grunginess that we're hearing. We know that it's not going to be a lovely, calm song. There's anger in this everywhere. We can hear it. And based on this alone, without any wider context, if I was going into a room blindfolded and I just played this music, I would be expecting maybe some harsh vocals to come in and probably the vocals of a man, right? But then Ann Wilson comes in. So this ain't the end, I saw you again. Pure power, growth, the melody is rising up. It's like a sonic slap to the face. I was really tempted to slap myself there, but I won't do that. We get enough of that in my introductions. And the melody itself is super important. Why? Because it's major sounding instead of minor sounding. And major is much happier sounding than minor. This major melody introduction is in itself kind of like a sonic slap to the face. It's quite unexpected. I won't get into the music theory too much. I know people tend to click off my videos when I start talking music theory. But based on that guitar introduction, I believe the implied harmony when Anne comes in is minor. We hear this. And it sounds much more natural to go back to the minor chord. It's a power chord on the guitar though, and all a power chord is, you just remove the middle note. It's quite archaic sounding, quite bare, and it's the middle note that determines if a chord is major, happier, or minor, sad. Minor is often associated with anger too, but no. So this ain't the end, I saw you again. Everything major, the chord, the melody, major, uplifting, hopeful. She arrives on that top note there, I saw you again, which again is the major variant. If it was minor, it would be a very different sound. So herein lies the importance of harmony. You change one note, one measly note, and the whole sound and feel of these songs that we know and love can be completely transformed. I think harmony is the most underappreciated thing in music. People take it for granted, and I will continue to spread the message for as long as I have this channel that harmony is the most important thing in music. My apologies, I wasn't expecting to be preaching in this video. Let's carry on with the song. There were a couple more things I wanted to mention, but for time reasons, I'll do them later on. What a voice.
Barracuda.
Yeah, there's a lot to like in this song. I've got all these things firing in my head. Like, I need to mention this, I need to mention that. So let me try before I forget, and then we can carry on. What we just heard, it's to do with the rhythms, and we're getting a lot of rhythmic things that are very interesting, rhythmic interestingness, as I might call it. What we just heard there, I'll play it again. And essentially what we're listening out for is the change in the stresses in the rhythms. The song is in common time, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can just count that all the way through.
Ooh, Barracuda.
We can very distinctly hear chum, 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 chum. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now we're thinking in threes instead of regular twos or fours, and this is called a hemiola, often used sparingly in music when it is used, but it makes quite an impact. We've heard it several times, and every time it just makes your head bang a little bit harder. And Anne, in her melody, she does some slight rhythmic adjustments.
No right, no wrong.
A similar thing there. There was another moment she did it. So every time it happens, it's just a nice bit of difference. It stops things being too repetitive. It's the same melody. How can we change it? Oh yeah, let's just change up the rhythms a little bit. It definitely is like injecting energy into the performance. Speaking of energy, her voice is really quite something. There are many women with powerful voices. They can sing super high in their chest voice or a blended voice, which Anne is doing here. And this is just personal preference, but I'm sure I'm not alone because it seems hard to quite popular. Her voice is not jarring at all. You hear it and it's just nice to listen to. There are some singers out there, and again, it's different for all of us, but you hear them and you can appreciate the power and the strength in their voice, but it might not necessarily be that nice to listen to. I personally don't think that's the case here. I really like listening to her voice, and every time she sings powerfully, woo, that's cool, you know, really cool. Going back to earlier in the song, let's listen to this, which is an example of that.
You have me down, 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 down on my knees.
So we were talking about the power at the top, and this is using straight tone, and then the vibrato comes through as she goes down at the bottom of the phrase. I'm using this line to segue into a point I wanted to make earlier, which is about the very obvious lyric painting. Down, 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 down. The melody is falling down, that's obvious. But aside from that, I find this line really interesting as well, because it creates even more tension and as a consequence of that, anger. What do I mean? Well, again, it's the harmony. It's subtle, but it's definitely there.
You have me down, 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 down on my.
What are we hearing? We have this power chord underneath, or a very subtle major chord there, her melody. And then it stops here. If you combine it and then move everything together. Sorry if that was a bit jarring to listen to, but that's the point. Her melody very obviously is implementing this harsh dissonance. She's falling, we have the guitar chord underneath playing out.
You have me down, down on my knees.
So we combine all of these elements together, and I am really starting to understand the anger in this song, why it's been called a rage anthem. And something else actually, the guitar introduction, those chords. Chromatic slide up. I thought I'd fetch the guitar for this one. So we start with that and then chromatic slide up, which just means every note just moving up by one all together. And when you play it, you really just want to ooh, maybe I'm getting too angry here. Let's carry on with the song. If you enjoy these videos, please consider supporting me. You can buy me a coffee or hot chocolate, join our Patreon for loads of additional content that's not available on YouTube, or become a YouTube member for these groovy emojis and membership badges. All options are linked below, and a special thanks to everyone on the screen. Back to the video. Sorry, there's that hemiola I spoke about. So obvious. This is really interesting. So many sounds going on. It's like everything has been put on hold temporarily, at least in the harmony. We're kind of just hearing this E at the bottom, never really moving. Everything's kind of literally being put on hold. And it's just become this instrumental, I don't know, not chaos or mayhem. Everything does sound very structured, kind of like a moment for the instruments to shine. The instrumental part of their music, based on these two songs I've heard, Crazy on You being the other one, which of course has that amazing guitar introduction, and then it just completely shifts. I don't know, is this a trope that we often see in their music? You have the main part of the song and then there's an instrumental section which is sort of different. Obviously in this case it's coming towards the end of the song rather than at the start. And the guitar solos, like we just heard there, they're not shying away from wrong notes. And I'm being very careful to do that, because there will be someone in the comments, I guarantee you, oh, Sir Hairless, no, they're not playing the wrong notes. Yes, I know, but it's purposefully discordant and purposefully sounds wrong. The drummer over here just grooving away. I like his outfit there. I might need to get one for myself. If this video gets 10,000 likes, I'll get that and wear it for my next heart reaction. This part's interesting. It's just playing a chord, letting it ring out using the whammy bar. Discordant chord, and we can still hear in a second guitar, like the whammy bar guitar playing there. Different inversions of the same chord. Yeah, really interesting, that section. No singing, of course, to talk about. So how long's left? About 40 seconds. Let's see how this song ends. I thought she was going to sing there. that's it. That's the only bit of singing we get from her in the last like 1.5 minutes. So maybe in future Heart reactions, I shouldn't expect there to be singing for the whole song. The singing didn't start until about 30 seconds in as well. It's a really good thing that Anne here has incredible stage presence and such high energy. I feel like I could just watch her without singing because she's just got great stage presence. I really like that. Really nice choice of the chords there. As usual, we have one note in the middle that refuses to move as all the notes around it move. Listen out for that note. It emits every chord. And against the upper line, falling on a tritone, known as Diabolus in Musica, the devil in music, a very kind of jarring tritone. And then it would fall chromatically down, more chromaticism, but they kind of escape the chromaticism. Really nice touch and just adds to the kind of musicality and melodiousness of the song to finish up with. Look, that was really cool to see them. I just don't know Heart. It seems like I've been missing out on quite a lot. Such high energy in these songs so far. I do prefer Crazy on You overall. I think it's just a bit more there in terms of the musicality and how catchy it is. But I can definitely see why this one, Barracuda, why and how it has become an anthem, a rage anthem, how powerful it is in its message of resilience and anger, kind of like a to the system, you know, the sister rebels, otherwise known as the Wilson sisters. If you made it this far, thank you very, very much for watching. Let me know if you want to see more Heart on the channel by liking the video. Also, comment down below other Heart songs you'd like to see. If you don't want to write a comment, then let's leave an emoji. Today's emoji, we'll go for the lightning bolt like you see on the screen here because of the high energy. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next one.